We're back and we're flapping free. So let me tell you a story that's all about me. Welcome to Geek Syndicate episode.
Was that as far as you got?
Yeah, no,
when
that
you were
was
doing your rap. Was that literally as far as you got? One sentence.
No, because this is a rap. This is from a cartoon from back in the day called Fern Gully. And
Right,
it's
okay.
got Fern Gully, the Last Rainforest, and it's really good. And it's got Robin Williams in it as a bat. He's been experimented on by humans, so he hates them, and that's his kind of introductory song. And I couldn't remember the rest. When I started, it was gonna seamlessly flow into my introduction. That didn't happen. My name is Batty. The logic is erratic. Potato energetic. Bat in the attic. And so
I thought you would have gone with Go Teen Titans Go.
No, but there's other great songs from this, like if I'm gonna eat somebody, it might as well be you. I can see you as a sandwich or a strange exotic stew. And there's a bit, and the fairy goes, it's an iguana, and he's got the shrunken human in his mouth. And the fairy goes, you can't eat him, he's a human. And the iguana goes, what's a human? And Batty goes, delicious, nutritious, tastes just like chicken. And I've never forgotten that my whole life. It is a... Right, okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to Geek Syndicate episode 324. We're doing what we always do. What's that, you ask? We are bringing the sass back to geekdom. I am Monts, and he is...
What up? Beast Boy can turn straight up into an animal. Animal. Yes, an animal. Boom, pow. Yeah, I'm a kitten now.
Alright.
That's how you rap. Kinda.
I still say Teen Titans Go to the Movies is literally in my top 3 superhero movies, full stop.
I mean, I do like that.
So what was interesting about Teen Titans Go to the Movies was that me and Ant, as dads, as parents, recommended that to Barry. And Barry was like, you know what, I haven't got any kids, we will just watch it anyway. He called me before the movie was even finished to say how good it was.
That rap, I couldn't stop watching that rap. I tell you what I realise as my advancing years go and I start to get a bit grey and whatever, is that I'm a really simple man. It generally does not take much to impress me. That's what I've realised. Simple nod, simple rap on a cartoon, and I'm happy for years.
But tell me, didn't that movie have one of the best ever cameos?
It's a cameo.
Well, first of all, it was Michael Bolton.
Oh yeah.
And second of all, it was Stan Lee.
Yes. Yeah.
I love a cameo. What do you mean this is a DC movie? I got to get out of here. It was like actual.
But
Stan
also,
Lee.
like, I remember there's a bit in there where they're doing all time travel and they're trying to like.
Is this the Aquaman bit?
It got dark, man. No, it was it's the bit with little Bruce Wayne. I don't want to say anymore. If people haven't seen it, you need to watch Teen Titans Go. It is a great film.
I literally guarantee you will not be disappointed, or I'll give you your money back.
I was gonna say you're getting jack shit from me if you don't like it. You can call me all you want. You're getting nothing.
Yeah, so I got a shout out.
All right, have we got to shout outs yet?
Yeah, shout out. So then my first shout out is a big fuck you to East Midlands Rail.
There best be some sort of geeky link on this.
There ain't. I'll just fix.
Right.
Well,
this is your personal platform. This ain't Watchdog, motherfucker.
All right. I was going up to do some motion capture for a computer game. Is that link enough for you?
There we go. That's
all
back
right.
in the room.
Nottingham, I had to go to. I got on a train at 8:34. Because of delays, because of stuff on the line, I reached my hotel in Nottingham at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that journey should not take 5 hours. It's a 1.5 hour journey. Yeah, and they said, oh, you know what? You can claim your delay compensation. So great. I went and put that in. I went, yeah, your train was delayed by 15 minutes, so you get £16 back. I'm like, whoa. So, would you like to debate this claim? Yes, sir. Fucking would. Got on there. Said, look. This is the time, so had to move into Bedford. Then we got a coach, and then we got to look. So tell me how that was 15 minutes, motherfucker. Yeah, and they come back from me, goes, yeah, we can't find any record of it being longer than 15 minutes. So sorry, here's your £16.
Wow.
What?
Wow. That's dark.
You can't find any record. How am I meant to contest that? Anyway.
You want to put a question on that one, man?
So, yeah. Okay, shout out to also James Spooner. He's directing me on an audio thing I'm doing next week, and we had a production meeting in the beginning of the week, and literally 50% of that meeting was us geeking out about old science fiction we used to watch on TV, British TV. It was a great time. Didn't get any work done.
It's the story of your life, man. So I want to give a shout out to all the peeps in the chat room. What?
Yeah. Right.
That no one can actually see.
But we got Phil, we got Stace, we got Ken, we got Steve. Sup?
Sup? And congrats to Steve. He knows why. I'll just I'll just say the word semi. He knows. He knows. You all probably think it's something completely different, but he knows. And no, he hasn't won the audition for like a new porn film. Or has he? Hey. If you have, you need to get a bigger moustache if you're going to do porn. Just putting it out there. Anywho, should we move on to news?
Yeah, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the news.
Anywho, news.
No, I got none.
I've got some. So, you know they're doing the Shang-Chi film. You know Shang-Chi. Oh, you're not Marvel, are you? DC. Have you heard of the character Shang-Chi?
No. What's he do?
Is
he like a master of kung fu or something?
Well, that's actually the full title. It is Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. Fucking hell, man!
This is going well, isn't it?
It's gonna be a long night, man. I am just right. So you probably don't know then that they're doing a film.
No.
This is the new Marvel film.
Is it in Marvel continuity?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So they're getting obscure then?
Yeah, so the film is going to be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So I'm wondering if that means that's going to be the Mandarin. Anyway, but it is a all Asian cast.
Oh no! Do you know what? So I did see something about this because I'm in a group called I'm in a group, and someone posted this, and it was just like, look at the state of the comments, and it was just that someone had posted a comment with a sign up with saying, "Get your panda here, get your pandering here, as in like Marvel are pandering to minorities."
But
I know.
How can they be? That is Shang-Chi. I used to read Shang-Chi when I was a kid. You always used to.
It's not because Shang-Chi was as Asian. It's because it was an all Asian cast. Apparently, that's a bit racist.
But how else are they gonna? Do you know what? I'm not even.
But that's why I realised that actually I did know something about it, but I didn't kind of look into it deeply because I don't actually want to look at the comments or anything like that. So
as well, I remember it was one of the comics my brother had. It was a Shang-Chi and Luke Cage team up.
Wouldn't that feel a little bit like he's been unfaithful to Iron Fist?
Maybe. But yeah, anyway, they've finished filming.
Well, I had no idea it was even being made, let alone like.
I knew it was being made. I knew it was being done. I didn't realise that it had finished. I thought it was still going. Apparently, it was. It will be out in 9 months. But apparently, the rumor is as well, it's going to feed into some of the other films. So they've said it might feed into Blade.
It would be a better fit than Avengers, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it depends. Yeah, it depends how they do it. But I'm really looking for. I do love a martial arts movie, so I'm quite excited for it. And I kind of feel that for this next raft of Marvel films, whenever they come out, they need to kind of be hitting a different stride anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not just a different phase; it's a complete different epoch of films. They kind of need to. They need to switch and bait. They need to change it up. Can't just keep doing the same old, same old.
And I don't quite know. And I suppose the thing is that they can't even go into it thinking like, how are we going to top Endgame? It's like, well, you're not. You've got to try and find a different way
really different,
to hit the same notes in a different way and to kind of get people's interest going. But I've got to say, after Endgame, I was kind of thinking, do you know what? I'm not done with the Marvel films, but I'm happy. I feel like they've rounded up. I'm happy. But then when they announced some of the films coming out, to begin with, I was like, not interested. Spider-Man 200, like, not interested. Keep rolling. And then they announced Blade, and I was like,
yeah.
But I was kind of a bit, I don't know about Wesley. How are you gonna, and I remember thinking, who are they gonna cast is gonna top Wesley? Oh, okay, okay, all right. And I'm quite interested in the Doctor Strange sequel because I feel that he's one of my favorite characters. And I feel when I watched the film, I kind of rode on my enjoyment of the character from back in the day, rather than kind of just watching it as a film, if that makes sense. And I think on repeat viewings, I don't enjoy it anywhere near as much as I enjoyed the Doctor Strange animated one they did. It was an animated origin one. Do you remember? Because me and you used to talk about it.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And I feel that really nailed the character and the magic and whatever. And I feel like the first Doctor Strange movie was all right, but I think because it was origin, I was just like, I get it. Can we just get to the good stuff? Yeah, he's a dick. He's going to be good. Let's just roll it on. However, they
were obviously setting him up to be a replacement for Tony because there's so many similarities.
But I think when they did what's the one it's not Endgame, Infinity War, when he takes on Thanos, I remember thinking, I had to stop myself from standing up in the cinema going, that's how you fucking do Doctor Strange. That's how you do Doctor Strange. They've got a handle on him now, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go with him. And I really hope they double down on the weirdness.
No, yeah, exactly. Let it be that corner of the Marvel universe that is weird. It needs that. That would be great. I'm just looking at. So Phil has said. So I had that they're doing an Eternals movie.
Yeah.
So I'm so out of the loop. So I don't really know anything about the Eternals either. I've got no. Neil Gaiman did an Eternals series, didn't he? I feel like I read that, but nothing about it has stayed in my head. So
yeah, I haven't read anything to do with the Eternals. I think the cast is pretty decent. I think is Angelina Jolie in it. Yeah, and someone from Game of Thrones is in it as well. So I think the cast is pretty decent. But to be fair, you kind of know now going in with an MCU movie that the cast is going to be decent because they've got the money now. And I think the thing is like doing those sort of films don't have the same stigma that like they used to.
What is interesting about this? They're going to a whole load of really obscure things. So, your big comic fans will know about it, but I don't. So the average person on the street is going to see these and go, "What? What is this?" Do you think having the MCU tag on it is enough to sell them?
Yes.
Yeah, guess so.
Because when you look, how many people knew who Guardians of the Galaxy was? And that was one of their most successful films.
True.
You know what I mean? I didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy was before I saw the movie.
No, me neither.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't think the lack of knowledge is going to hamper them. Even more so now. I think people will be quite excited to see new characters rather than seeing Spider-Man 250. I keep going on about Spider-Man, don't I? I'm going to let that go.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Steve says, same for Black Panther.
Same for Black Panther. Very true. Very true.
So, and I think people are going to gravitate more towards the more obscure characters than the characters that are getting sequels. Do you know what I mean?
Man, and you know what? I'm just sitting there thinking, I am not as down on the DCU as most people are.
Me neither.
And yet, even I'm sitting here going, DC is just so far behind on this one. They're playing a lackluster game compared to Marvel, and I'm speaking as someone who I quite enjoyed Batman versus Superman, and I didn't mind Justice League. Do you know? So I'm talking to somebody who's quite positive about these things. But I'm thinking, it's a lackluster game they're playing, and it's even beyond catch up. It's not even catch up.
I think what's weird is, and I don't even know what DC films, new films have got in nothing, but what's weird to me is the thing that people are most excited about is a remix and revamp of a film that came out years ago. Do you know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people. I'm really interested to see what the Snyder Cut is going to be like. I won't lie.
I am.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. As Steve said, it's going to be like a 5-hour miniseries. You know, I'm excited. There's some of my news. It's kind of a segue, but some of my news is like the guy who, I think it was in Batman v Superman, there was a post-credit scene with Deathstroke. And now the guy who played Deathstroke in that scene is coming back to do extra footage for Justice League.
This is crazy. It's crazy.
So my thing is, I'm more excited about this than
anything they've got.
Than anything they got coming. And to be honest, Monts, I don't even know what they got coming. So,
no, neither do I. No.
I don't even know. You know, there's rumors.
No, what I do know. So, Suicide Squad 2. I was excited about that when I saw the trailer. A, I thought the trailer looked half decent. But B, they had Peacemaker in it. Do you know who Peacemaker is? No one knows who Peacemaker is. I do, because I like the Question. And the reason that I know is because Peacemaker used to be a Charlton character alongside the Question and Captain Atom and Nightshade and a few others. So I've got this really niche sentimentality for those characters. So when I saw Peacemaker, I was like, this is the shittiest character anyone ever created. Yeah. And they've put him in a movie and they've given him a spin-off.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So I'm like, so basically he's got this really dumbass helmet, which
I have seen a picture
which
of him.
Serves no purpose whatsoever. And his whole thing is like, I love peace so much, I'm willing to kill for it. And that is his shtick. That's it. And I'm like, this makes no sense. And for that reason, so this is the whole thing. We say, you know what, you cannot compete with where Marvel is. You got to come outside. You got to come from left field. And in my mind, trotting out Peacemaker, you're coming out of left field, and I applaud that. I don't know if it's going to work. I think it's a gamble, but I applaud that coming out of left field, because you can't just go straight into it because Marvel's so far ahead.
Well, I think what you said, you know, the word gamble, and I think that's what they've got to be doing now. And I think that's where the DC have the potential to be dangerous, because they've got nothing to lose now.
Yeah.
And I think that showed with, I've still not seen Shazam, but I think that showed with like Aquaman and things like that, where they're just like, do you know what, fuck it, let's just give it a go, see if it works. Do you know what I mean? You know, how bad could it be? And so, it's actually pretty good.
I really enjoyed Shazam.
Yeah.
And it was one, and even though it was a little bit on the scary side, it was one that, what I did love about it was I felt it was one I could enjoy with my kids. Now, I know a lot of people showing their kids Marvel movies, and I watch a lot of Marvel movies and go, that's not my choice. Yeah. That's not my choice. I don't feel 100% comfortable sharing some of these Marvel movies with my kids. But with Shazam, even though it was a little bit, I still felt it was a good one, and I applaud them for that.
You could always share Green Lantern with them.
Yeah, I could. I could. I don't want them to invest in poor storytelling.
Do you know what was weird was, so you know the Justice League's coming on to it's going to be on this HBO Max, which is their new streaming.
Yeah.
So they put out a trailer for it. It was like all the superheroes here. I don't know if I'm the only one who's seen that trailer, but it's like all the superheroes, and it's got lots of clips from Justice League, Shazam, blah blah blah. And I was like, this is a pretty decent trailer. I don't know what fool thought it was a good idea to drop in Green Lantern at the end, but I just saw like Ryan Reynolds pop up in the Green Lantern suit, and I was just like,
yeah, you just killed the vibe.
You just killed the vibe, but you had me. I was all ready to click subscribe. I was like, you know what? Now, nope. But I think what they need to do. So the new Batman film they're doing, I'm liking the look of that, just because I feel that it looks a bit different to what we've seen before. It looks potentially that they're focusing more in maybe on the detective element. Please, for the
There's a
love
turn
of,
up for the books.
just please, just do it. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm not necessarily as excited as I would be just because I've seen Batman done so many different times, you know. But it still feels different enough to make me think that DC are trying to do different things.
Well, actually, I was going to say something, but I'll leave it to the week that was because
Okay.
I'm going to talk about Doom Patrol.
So
in
we've
that
talked
context.
a fair bit news-wise. I just want to say because you read. Oh no, you don't. Moon Knight.
Yeah, I have read some Moon Knight because I really fancied the character. I really liked the idea of the
Yeah.
character.
And there's a
The stuff I read, it was quite a while back, didn't quite deliver on that. But I think the
there is a
character's got so much
fantastic.
promise.
If you've never read it, I think that run. Can't remember who was writing on that run, but the art was done by I want to say Declan Shelby. Shelby. It was, yeah. There is a issue in that where he goes to get a kid or something, and he's basically got to fight his way through this building. Mate, one of the best bits of sequential art I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yep. I didn't even, and it was the only.
Do you know what? I think I might have seen this one. It was Warren Ellis who wrote it.
Yeah. And it's the only issues of Moonlight I've ever read. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So they're doing that as a TV series.
Okay.
I want to say that's HBO Max as well.
The only thing I remember thinking
maybe
about
it's
Moon
not. No,
Knight
it's not. That'd be Disney, I guess. Yeah.
is that fighting crime in white. It's just not a great idea. Your laundry bill's got to be mad.
Yeah. But the rumor is that they're looking to cast Oscar Isaacs.
Okay.
It's a rumor. Everyone's kind of going, he's been cast, but when you look at it, he's in negotiations and blah blah blah. So he's not been cast. But I quite like the sound of that, though.
No, I do.
I quite like the sound of that.
I can see that.
And we need, and I think it's a clever move from Marvel to just kind of focus a bit more on the sort of street level, taking that cue from Netflix shows. I think focusing on the street level heroes, I think makes sense. Personally, for me, even though I haven't read the character as much as you have, and I think this other one they're doing as a series, but what DC should be doing is HBO Max Gotham Central series, Money in the Bank.
Yeah, right.
And the Question series, Money in the Bank. And you haven't got to blow a big ass budget on special effects. You know, and that's why I feel like, I mean, I did enjoy some of the latest seasons of Gotham, but you know, that's why. But I still feel that they missed the trick by not going whole hog and doing Gotham Central. I just feel they missed the trick with that, because effectively it just became like Batman TV series without Batman.
Just like which just made me think of Smallville, Superman without putting on a costume or a cape. What's the point?
They could have called it Gothamville. I mean, that's what it was. So yeah, I just think HBO it'd be doing a Gotham Central TV series. I think would work so well, and it would bring in people that wouldn't normally come in to watch a show like that. Because effectively, it would be a cop show. It'd be a gritty cop drama.
Yeah.
You know, and Batman, as memory serves, was barely in it in the comic.
Yeah, every now and again he'd pop in.
Yeah, it just focused in on the cops, and I feel with Gotham, they started to try to do that, and then I think they panicked and then thought, shit, let's throw in the Riddler, let's throw in the Penguin, and it just, yeah. So yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited for a 5-hour HBO Justice League miniseries.
So Phil says, so you keep talking about shows I didn't even know existed, and so it says yes. Phil says, may have missed it. Have you watched Hellstrom? I haven't seen any press about it. So number one, I'm aware of the name. It has something to do with Marvel. I know nothing. I have no idea what Hellstrom is, except that I know it's Marvel. I had no idea that there was a.
I want to say, is it Damien Hellstrom? Yeah, and I want to say, I only remember him from way back in the day And when he was way back in the day, again, I want to say his kind of like weapon was like a pitchfork, and he had like a cape, and didn't have a top on and stuff, and he had like a kind of tattoo type thing on his chest. And I saw a trailer weirdly about 2 weeks ago. It's on Hulu, and the guy who's playing Damien Hellstrom I thought he looked really familiar. He's the dude from Sleepy Hollow.
Okay.
He's the dude who played Ichabod Crane. I quite like the trailer, actually. Yeah, I think Phil said Lucifer-esque. I would kind of say Lucifer-esque, but with a heavy smattering of supernatural.
Is it? Has anyone seen it? Is it worth a watch?
I haven't seen it. I've only seen the trailer.
Okay,
but
I love that.
But that's the problem. Everything is so scattered to the four winds that I'm kind of like, I don't want to get that or whatever Hulu is. I don't want to get Hulu to get it. So I'm waiting to see whether or not it will drop on something else. Now, I know some of the other stuff, like Cloak and Dagger and those sorts of things, have ended up on Amazon. So I'm hoping maybe that might be the case.
I think I don't know if they're on Amazon anymore, because I think they're on Disney Plus now. Or am I making that up?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they are.
But apparently, I don't know. Some people are saying the way they've done it, it's not going to be true to the comics or something. I don't know. But to be honest, like I said, how he used to look back in the day, I couldn't see them doing that as a TV show.
Yeah.
So, shall we move along?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the week that was. Right, so what have I got? TV or comic?
I've got a shed load of TV, so go comics.
Right, so I finally finished. I managed to get. Stop me if I'm repeating myself, because my memory's gone to hell. So DC has got its Black Label run, which is interesting because the comics are kind of square, which means like, the hell am I going to store them in? They don't fit in my comic boxes. Do you know what I mean? I was like, great idea, fantastic, love the format. Oh, where am I going to put it? But there you go. So it goes. And they did a run of The Question. Now, number one, it was written by Jeff Lemire. Yeah?
You did talk about that.
Did I talk about finishing it?
Yeah, I think what Steve said. I don't know if you talked about.
No, okay. Well, let me give my overall. I did talk, because I talked about how excited I was to be reading, and how I read the first. I think the last time I talked about it, I'd read the first issue and I loved it because it was really It really felt like old school Question. So it's written by Jeff Lemire, who's a great a great writer, and it had all the old team on it. Dennis Cowan, what's his name on covers? What's his name? Lost my mind. Best artist, a fantastic artist. Polish surname. Bill Sienkiewicz. Thank you, Phil. Bill Sienkiewicz. So it's great. So number one, it looked so much like old school Question. I was excited, and I was reading it, and I was like, yeah, they seem to have got the character. And then it went on, and it kind of got a bit weird, which is fine. Because everyone now sees the Question as this weird character. And he was never that weird. He was just asking questions all the time and had a kind of zen-like approach to stuff. And he's just kind of got weirder as things gone on. And his cartoon appearances got him going weirder. And when it finished, I kind of felt a little disappointed. Because that was great. But it slowly got less and less question-y. And by the end of it, I was like, it doesn't really make it, I don't know. I just felt I got it. I got what it was trying to do, but I was kind of as a Question fan, I was slightly disappointed. Maybe people who aren't that big, who aren't in where I am, will have loved it, but I was a little bit disappointed. But it's Black Label, so it's not in continuity. It's fine. It's a what if story, and it was. I don't regret buying it, but still a little part of me kind of went.
I think, because I think this would be a similar thing, and then hopefully we'll start the trajectory upwards. So you remember a while ago I talked about a comic called Adventure Man?
Yeah.
Which is by Matt Fraction, arts by Terry Dobson, Rich Dobson. And I can't remember off the top of my head who did the lettering, so apologies. And this is kind of like supposed to be a love letter to, like, pulp old school pulp adventure and like Doc Savage and stuff, but with a modern day setting. And I remember picking up the first issue and absolutely loving it. And I've now since read the first trade. And first off, I've got to say, I don't know if anyone else is reading it, but I can't fault the art on this. The art is glorious, you know. However, what I thought as I went on was Matt Fraction or whatever. It was just trying too hard to be almost a bit too cerebral. Do you know what I mean? And the whole concept of it is like basically, it's a slight spoiler, but you know, it starts back in the day with Adventure Man. Adventure Man's basically Doc Savage. There's no two ways about it. He's Doc Savage, and he kind of disappears, and then it switches to modern day, and you've got this woman who runs like a bookshop, and I think she used to be a cop or whatever. And cut a long story short, she kind of almost starts to kind of metamorphosize into kind of like a female version of Adventure Man. Do you know what I mean? And I know reading about it, part of the reason Matt wanted to do is the fact that a lot of those pulps back in the day weren't exactly the most progressive of stories. You know, and that's kind of what he wanted to do and whatever. And I'm here for all of that and I applaud that. So my problem is like, I would have rather you just do it from the get-go.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it just took a bit too long to get going. And for a pulp, even if you're doing modern day pulp, it should still obey the rules of pulp. And pulp for me is that shit's got to be like it's two-fisted action. It's got to be moving, boom, 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 boom. It's got to be moving fast. Yeah. You know, you've got to have cliffhangers, and to me it felt too modern. It felt like it was trying to be a bit too sort of clever, take its time, tell the story. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I want to see people kicking ass. I want to see biplanes or seaplanes or modern day equivalents and stuff. And it kind of lost me. And I think by the end of the first trade, I was just, like you, I was a bit disappointed to the point of I probably won't go, unless I hear good things about second trade or whatever, I probably won't go back to it.
Wow, okay.
But like I said, the art was glorious. And I think some people will really enjoy it. But I think for me, as a sort of real kind of pulp fan, it just didn't scratch that itch enough for me.
Okay, so let's take that trajectory up. Got another comic. So there's a comic. If I went on Amazon to buy it, it'd be like £25 up. Or if I went somewhere else, I went on eBay and I found it for £8, and I won against nobody else. So
the best kind of winning.
So I got this hardback Invincible Ultimate Collection Volume 1.
You got that for £8?
Yeah. Look at that. Proper. And after the news last week, like there's going to be an Invincible cartoon, and I just remember, I don't remember much about it, but I remember really enjoying it. So I thought, yeah, I want to go. You know, I've got a couple of trades on my shelf, but weirdly, it's like trade number 6 and 7. I'm like, what happened there? I don't understand. So I was like, okay. I went and looked on eBay. There it was. Bang! I'm getting that bad boy. It's done already.
Yeah, is it?
It is great, man, and it's just like, there's something so simple about it. The art is very simple, uncomplicated. I hate to say it's cartoony because some cartoons aren't simple or whatever, but this is. Well, let's go with it. It's very cartoony.
Yeah.
But it's very simple art. But the dialogue is very simple. It's kind of obvious, but you kind of go, they're not reading into anything. They're saying what people would probably say. So you read a lot of comics and go, I walked along and the wind swirled, reminding me of the time that Edison once said that mankind is like a leaf on the wind. And you're like, people don't walk along thinking that shit to themselves. Yeah. And like comics are full of that. Yeah. And I'm about to talk about another one, which is chock-a-block full of, I haven't found myself laughing, but I actually love the comic anyway. But what I love about Invincible is none of that. It's people saying what normal people say when they say it.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, where's Dad? Oh, I don't know. Turn the news on. Oh, I guess you know where he is now then. You know, it's like simple. No. And then I wondered, why does he leave us alone so often? No, it's just, he's a superhero. He's off to it. So it just felt I mean, it's a dark story. There's a dark stuff that comes part of it. It's really dark, and yet it just feels so light and easy to read. And I think that's part of its charm. It's just, it doesn't pull its punches, and yet it's so accessible. And I just loved it. Yeah, everyone in chat said they're looking forward to cartoon, and Phil's just said it. Yeah, animated is the right way to go with that, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just, I loved it, and I'm like, so I was scouring eBay for like volume 2, going, come on, oh yeah. Everyone's learnt from that last mistake. No one's doing it for £8 no more. You know what I mean?
So when you were saying you were going to pick it up, I went because I've got I don't know if it's Prime Reading or Kindle Unlimited. I've got one of them anyway, and it's all on there. Yeah, it's all on there, and that Irredeemable. You know, we was talking about Irredeemable.
Yeah, that's on my list. That's still
Incorruptible. They're on there as well, so I have that. But it's the same as you, because you put me onto it way back in the day. I remember reading quite a bit of it and really enjoying it, and then for whatever reason, never went back to it, and I don't know why. Because I was enjoying it.
Likewise.
So I'm getting them to go.
I think also there's a pretty momentous thing that happens in it. And I kind of think it was one of those things where you go, whoa, I need a little break.
Yeah. Well, I think I got way past that. And then, again, I just don't know. I don't know what happened. But sort of going to that animated side of it, like I said, the trailer for it looks great and whatever. But I genuinely think there's more comics that, rather than automatically going the live action route, should go the animated route.
Name one.
BPRD.
Yeah, okay.
That shouldn't be. Don't get me wrong. If you get the right team, right, that could work amazingly as a TV show. Right.
What's interesting about that? So you had the first 2 Hellboy movies.
Yeah.
I'm not even. This new one doesn't exist as far as
it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
To be fair, I only made it 10 minutes in anyway, so.
Yeah, no, likewise. It was
Not often. It genuinely isn't often I walk away from. In fact, can't think. I was trying to think of one of the.
We said that. I started it up with Siobhan, and I was sitting there going, I'm willing to give it a little time. Siobhan just went, turn it off. I was like, okay. But so you had the 2 earlier Hellboy films, which I enjoyed, but they took liberties, which I'm like, I'm okay with taking liberties, but I'm like making a relationship between Hellboy and Liz Sherman. Yeah. I'm like, what? That doesn't. Anyway, but then there was, and I don't know how many people saw it. There was an animated Hellboy, and that was incredible. And I just think
that's the one that had Lobster Johnson in it.
Yeah,
as well.
And I think as much as I would like to see a live action BPRD, that let me go in. I think I think it naturally sells itself to animation. Actually,
especially given, as we both know, we've both read that kind of the Hell on Earth run and all of that.
So much stuff going on. You kind of you ain't got the budget for that.
No, as we would say back in the day, just for the level of fuckery that goes on. Right, you haven't got the budget for that. You just haven't got the budget for it. Whereas I feel they'd end up just cutting corners that would just annoy me. Whereas with animation, you can go wild with it, you know. So yeah, I would like to see that as animated. So I want to move on to film quickly. So I watched. I don't know why we watched. I don't know. It's because we've got Sky Cinema at the moment. So what we're doing, we're going and just watching like older films and stuff like that because there's nothing on anyway. And we ended up watching the latest Halloween.
Okay, you mentioned something about this week,
mate. All those years we've talked about like horror films and that if we're in certain situations, how we would take care of business and how we'd be prepared and blah, blah, blah. I cannot stress this enough. I have never, first off, I don't even think this is the only Halloween film that I've seen. Right?
Okay.
I haven't seen any of the Halloween films. So I will at some stage. I want to watch the first
I think
one.
I saw the first couple back in the day.
I want to watch the first one.
Halloween '73.
Yeah, the first one's John Carpenter, and John Carpenter's my boy. So I want to watch that first one. But the way they've done it is it's supposed to be, I think, done almost as a direct sequel to the first film. So it basically dismisses. It's almost like that shit's not happened. So Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, who was in the first film. So she's back. Obviously, she's older. And mate, it's that whole thing of
you
like
look totally shell shocked by your experience.
It's to me how I describe this film, right? It's like a tornado hits your house, right? It's like a tornado hits your house, and then someone says to you, in 10 years' time, that tornado's gonna come back. What are you gonna do about it? And you go, right, this is what the fuck I'm gonna do about it. That is basically this film. And mate, I was in awe. I was in awe of the one particular character in this film. He's in the first film, and you know she's got to prepare. I was just like, that's how you do it. That's how you deal with your fucking Jason, your Michael Myers dude, your Freddy. That's how you deal with those fuckers. Watch this film. It's like a blueprint for dealing with like.
Siobhan's not gonna want to watch that with me. When am I gonna go?
On your own, mate. On your own.
Have I learned? I'm going to Poland for 3 weeks. Oh yeah.
There you go. Job done.
Yeah.
You've got I loved it. I mean, you know, some people get taken out. That's not a spoiler. Do you know what I mean? Some people get taken out. Standard. When there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's some stupid people. You know what I mean? There's some stupid people where you just go, I've got nothing for you. Do you know what I mean? I know I'm supposed to feel sorry for you, but I've got nothing for you. You know, Pity Shack's closed for business.
Pity Shack.
Do you know what I mean? Sorry. Yeah. But it's wicked, boys. You got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Okay, so I did watch. So I finished now Lovecraft Country.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't love this show more.
Really?
I couldn't love it more. Absolutely. And there's a girl in it, and I was like, all right, you can run. Do you know what I mean? It was some chip. This girl was chipping, and I was like, yeah, you're proper. But I mean, there's some. It gets weird, man. It gets weird. It's so good. I can't even. And there's so much I want to tell you, but I can't even say a word. I can't even say a word because it's just spoilers. What I will say is 2 things I've found out. Is 1, don't watch it on your iPad in public. Really don't do that.
Okay.
Just don't do that. So one of the things I did love about this is like some of the people getting naked and doing their sex scenes or whatever, they're not your classic body shape.
Right.
Yeah, you got some bigger women in there, and it's just like, and there's one woman who's just like, yeah, she's sexy. She knows she's sexy. Yeah, she's doing a love scene, and I'm kind of going, why do I feel weird? I feel weird because I'm not used to seeing this on TV. I'm not used to
train to Nottingham, and there's
well, for a start. The other thing I've got is if you do watch it and you get to episode 5, do not watch it while you're eating. For the love of God, for the love of everything holy, do not watch episode 5 or any subsequent episode actually while you're eating, especially meat.
I don't know if you're selling it to me once. I've got to say, you're not. I feel like my Halloween pitch sold it, right? I feel you started off well, and in my head, when you're saying, "For the love of God, don't eat anything from this episode onwards,"
it's a horror series, man. It's a horror series,
straight up horror. Not even.
It's just great, man. Great acting, great writing, great storytelling, great running. The villain, there's someone who's the villain, and she's one of the things that makes this person a brilliant villain is because they genuinely can't see why you can't understand their point of view. He goes,
I do like villains like that.
but it was like, goes, but you want to kill so and so. Goes, no, but it's not personal. But it's the only way I can make the spell work, don't you see? And she's expecting everyone to understand. And I was sitting there going, wow, you were genuinely amoral. You don't get it.
To be fair, I've sat in meetings like that and said stuff, and people just looked at me, and I'm like, what? That's the only way forward.
Yeah, no, okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Either get on board. You know what I mean?
Put it this way, for me, this show was so good. I finished it, and after I'd let it sink in for a bit, I went, please don't do a second series.
Really?
Because it's done. It's finished. It's finished. It's done. It's wrapped up. There's no loose ends. Oh, the last line of the entire series is a doozy. And it's like, and the thing is, this last line, I can only tell you if you're never going to watch it. But in this last line, you'd be sitting there going, exactly.
No, because now that you've said that, you've kind of sold it a bit more. I'm kind of coming back round now. But I always remember there was a film called, it's done by, and this is why I gave The Mummy, as in not Tom Cruise one, the actual good one. That's why I gave that film a chance. I called that film was going to be good way before anyone else. Loads of people going, it's going to be shit, trying to be like fucking and I'm like, I'm there. And I'm like, I'm there for it. And I'm like, but people were surprised because they were like, but you're the Indiana Jones guy. Why aren't you leading the kind of pitchforks and stuff? I'm like, because this is the dude who did Deep Rising. So I don't know if you've seen Deep Rising.
Nah.
Deep Rising it's your film, man. It's
really?
Basically it's the ship, which is it's basically it's modern day. It's basically this massive ship like the Titanic that they're like, I don't know if they're like giant tentacle creature thing, whatever. It infests the ship.
I hate it when it happens.
Right, and like, so the ship goes offline, blah, 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 and then like salvagers turn up to basically nick stuff from ship. And the main kind of guy, he's this kind of Han Solo-y, Indiana Jones, cocky dude, right? Who goes on the ship with his boys and whatever. And then, but there's already some pirates there, and it all kind of kicks off. But it ends with it's a spoiler, but when you see the scene, it doesn't matter. It ends with him on a jet ski going through the ship because the ship's sinking, and the ship's going to explode as well as a timer, and he's going through this thing on a jet ski. He's got a woman on the seat behind him, and he's got like a shotgun, and he's driving one hand, and he's shooting back at this thing that's coming for him, and she has to load the shotgun. So he's shooting back, and she's like, mate, film. And the last bit in that film, his catchphrase throughout it is like, now what? That's just his catchphrase, and then something kicks off. So the whole thing finishes, and they kind of survive, and they're like, they get stranded somewhere. I'm trying to not spoil, and he just goes, now what? And then you see the now what, and I was just like, oh my days. And no one really knows much about that film. Every time I say to people, go, I've never heard of the film. And that's directed by Stephen Sommers. And then a few years later, he then went and did The Mummy. So when they announced The Mummy and they said it's Stephen Sommers, I was like, that sounds familiar. And he was like, he did Deep Rise. And I was like, nope, I'm there.
So the problem with this episode is I've got far too many things to watch being added to my list by the moment.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
I just wanted to say, there's a couple of things I wanted to say. Number one, just Lovecraft Country. I love a good name, and a lot of it centers around his family, the Freeman family. And the main character is called Atticus Freeman. So I'm like, number one, that's what his name. He's got Uncle George Freeman. Yeah. His dad is called Montrose Freeman. And I was like, Montrose Freeman. I mean, come on. And George Freeman, his dad married Hippolyta. So you got Hippolyta Freeman, and I'm like, I'm just loving this. I'll watch this movie just for these things. But this is just because you were talking about Deep Rising, talking about a boat. I watched this thing. It was an 8-minute thing on YouTube, and it was they got an American submarine commander to rate submarine movies.
Oh, that's a big thing on YouTube now.
For real, I love it. And what cracked me up, there was a film with was it Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington?
Tide.
Crimson Tide, and there was another one with what's his name? Han Solo.
Hunt,
Harrison Ford.
Hunt for Red October. No, that's not.
No,
that's not
it wasn't that one. It was a different one. It wasn't.
I don't know what that one is.
But it was one, and he gave them less than he gave the Simpsons episode on the submarine. It's like, and I was like, wow, you got to go out of your way to be that unrealistic. Do you know what I mean? I was like, when the Simpsons gets more than you, I was like, wow, that was like K-19 Widowmaker. That was it.
That's it. Yeah.
So that was just the by the by, because I've been chuckling about that all week. The Simpsons got more, and the Simpsons got 3 out of 10. So
oh wow. So I've seen the first 2 episodes of the latest season of Star Trek Discovery. Sorry, Steve.
My Facebook feed has got half people going, "This is Star Trek. This is nonsense. This is rubbish," and the other half going, "Oh, at last we've got some proper Star Trek. This is great."
I feel if I could be bothered to do these things, I feel that I would maybe as a New Year's resolution just go to different chat rooms and just go, do you know what? I really love Star Trek Discovery. You know what? I can't stand Star Trek Discovery. and just spend the year doing that for like different mediums and just. However, I want to preface this by saying I understand people's criticisms of the first series. I enjoyed it, but I understand the criticisms.
We all do, Barry. We all do.
And I certainly understand the criticisms of the first 2 episodes, because boy, did I not like her in the first 2 episodes. In fact, probably the first half of that first season, I was struggled with her. And then, you realize it's part of a journey and blah, 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 blah. And then the second season came along and they kind of changed the game up, and they brought in Anson Mount as Pike. And yeah, I was,
great addition.
I was in. So season 3 is again it feels like another reboot, as in season 2 felt a bit of a reboot, or changing the game up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And season 3 feels the same way a little bit. And on one hand, I can understand why they've done that, because it means they're not a slave to canon anymore. But on the other hand, a part of me is like, if I'd been sitting in that first meeting, I'd be like, why are you doing it before Kirk? Why are you doing that? Shit's not going to work, right? Just from the start, your special effects and tech is going to look much more advanced. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't. To be fair to Enterprise back in the day, I think the way they handle it was pretty decent. You know what I mean? But in general, things like that have a tendency to not work very well. But then in this day and age where everything is canon, most shows are story. You know what I mean? It's one plot running through and blah blah blah. You get into that cycle and it's really difficult, I think, and you just get loads of people just hammering you because, well, that wouldn't work because blah blah blah, and they wouldn't have met blah blah blah. And I think what they've done now takes them out of that. But there's a part of me, it's like it's taking you 2 seasons to get there, whereas actually, if you just, it is a mild spoiler, but you know what I mean. If you just set the fucking thing in the future in the first place, you wouldn't even have to waste time. Do you know what I mean?
So the question is, though, did you enjoy it?
Sorry, yes. Hey, look, man, I've got to set the scene. That's what I do, man.
I get you. It's good scene setting.
I did enjoy it. But like I said, I felt that because it felt slightly rebootish, it felt like I was still. I feel like I'm still kind of like, okay, what are we doing? You know, what's happening now? Do you know what I mean?
What next?
So they've got a new character in there. I quite liked him. He was in he played Manchester Black in Supergirl.
Okay.
And he's in there as a bit of a kind of Han Solo-y character.
Okay.
So some people have been, I think some of the
a lovable rogue.
Yeah, some people have kind of said it feels more Star Wars than Star Trek. That's what some people have said.
Okay.
Me, a part of me is like, I don't even, at this stage, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. Honestly, I'm not saying it as a negative. I'm just saying I don't know what the fuck that. I don't know because they've gone so far into the future. I would have liked to have seen something closer to, say, Deep Space Nine. You know, like maybe just after Deep Space Nine finished. You know what I mean?
But I like the idea of it going so far ahead that everything's fallen apart. I mean, like completely. Which I mean, I've seen nothing. I've seen a very vague trailer. Actually, I saw a Buck Rogers parody of a trailer.
To be fair, the best thing, and it's not a diss on the first 2 episodes because I did enjoy them. However, I watched the first 2 episodes. I really enjoyed it. Still not a patch on the Buck Rogers
in the 25th century trailer version,
because that was awesome. And I'm like, why should? In my mind, that's what they should do. In my mind, I would walk in and go, that's what I want for season 3. I want it to be like Buck Rogers. I want it to be cheesy. I want the martial arts to be awful. Do you know what I mean? I want blue screen. You know I want them to get a little robot. That's what I want. Make it happen, or you're all fired.
That's what I want.
It's not much. It's not much to ask.
Not much to ask.
But I think and when I watched it, I kind of, because it's a far-flung future, and things have gone to shit. And my thing is like, one of the things I liked about the second series was it got back to that kind of hopeful, explorative type Star Trek that I loved, you know. And I feel like now we're at that kind of like, it's all gone to shit, but we're here and we're going to try and build it back up. And I'm like, but I've seen enough things where things have gone to shit. My own life, the fucking world's gone to shit. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of, and I know they're bringing a hopeful vibe to the future, but I would rather you've just been hopeful within the confines of what you spent so much time setting up that season 2 to make things more hopeful. And then it just feels like you've then...
It was going so well, man. We were on that upward trajectory, and then you just like...
And I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. But it's okay. So, you know.
How many episodes in it?
2.
Okay.
I do like Michelle Yeoh though, who's in it. She's every time she's on, she's wicked.
I love her.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
And they should just do that. Hurry up and do that Section 31 spin-off they were gonna do, because that'd be buddy.
No, I'm ready for that the new Enterprise one. What they call it with Pike?
Oh yeah, is it Strange New Worlds?
Something, I don't know. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
because that feels like they're going to go proper retro, because they've got back into the old uniforms, haven't they?
Yeah.
So, so I've watched something. The wife and I sat down, thought watch something, and we were talking the other day. Me and the boys. God blimey, Gov. We were talking the other day about how Netflix is really killing it with the Spanish shows, isn't they? Loving a bit of the old Spanish.
I do love a bit of paella. Spanish.
Would you have to go? Wow. Should go there.
Yeah. Apologies. That actually sounds like racist then. Do you know what I mean?
Just go with a caricature, don't you?
Yes. No, but I didn't. It's not like I was trying to speak like, why am I still in character? I don't know. I was trying to be a parody of British people abroad talking about I love a bit of paella, and it just came. Yeah, all right, Phil. Yeah, it went wrong. It went wrong.
Just stop talking.
Yeah, really. What you were saying, buddy. You started it anyway. Man.
Yeah, so we were talking. We were talking about how like Netflix is really killing it with like some really good Spanish shows, and we saw some trailers for some good Spanish shows. And Siobhan, I was sitting there, just wanted something a bit different. And we saw High Seas in Spanish. In Spain, it's called Alta Mar.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So it's set in the 1940s after the war, on a big sort of passenger liner going from Spain to Buenos Aires, I think. Yeah, I think so. And it follows 2 sisters, Eva and Carolina Villanova, and one of them, Ivana Baquero. I don't know if anybody ever watched. God, why have I lost all my words today? Shannara Chronicles.
Nope.
Anybody ever watched them? It was so bad. It was so. I mean, this is one of my favourite fantasy books growing up. As a teenager, I loved Terry Brooks's Shannara Chronicles. I loved them, and then they did this. It was so bad. There's a bit like it's meant to be set in the far, so far in the future that mankind's DNA is diverged into different races, like dwarves and goblins and trolls and all of that. And yet they fall through a hole and they find a high school prom intact. Yeah. I'm like, what? How far in the future are we? And there's another bit, they find a colony of humans who hate elves, and they've found some old film and they play it on their party nights, and it's footage of Star Trek. Yeah, and you've got like Bones cursing off Spock, who they think is an elf, and they're all going, yeah, tell him. And I'm like, this is just dire. The only highlight of it was Ivana Bakero, who was playing a rover girl called Eritrea. She was hot, but also pretty much the best actor in the whole thing.
Okay.
By a long shot. And I had not the slightest clue that she was Spanish. So she's one of the sisters in here, and she is fantastic. And I'm just loving it. You know, it's a murder on a boat. It's a whodunit on a boat.
Okay.
And I'm so in love with her. Siobhan loves it, and I'm sitting there really. Why are you so quiet? Because I love her. But I'm telling you, I'm on series 3 now. That's how this is like in a week. I'm on series 3. Series 3 don't make no sense, because when I say the amount of shit that went wrong on this boat, you would never get on a boat again. And series 3 is 6 months later, let's go on a trip on the same boat with the same crew, and they've put us in the same cabin. I'm like, come on, what were you thinking? It's just, and I'm still enjoying it. But what? So it's not your standard geeky stuff. But if you fancy a period whodunit on a boat, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Okay. I really enjoyed it. But get off the boat, man.
It's funny, like, I mean, I talked about this, and all these, Phil Ankin have heard me say it. I watched a thing called Haunting of Bly Manor, which is on Netflix.
It's on my list, but I can't watch it with Siobhan.
So,
because that's a sequel. It's not a sequel, but that's a kind of follow up to.
It's standalone, because I hadn't seen the first one.
But it's the same guys who did the first
one.
It's
the same.
Haunting of
in it,
Hill House, or
but it's a different story,
which was awesome.
I've been told that the Hill House one is scarier, so now I'm a bit about going to watch that one. So I watched this one, and like I said, there's some jump scares, but there's a lot of it which is what I do with a lot of horror films, where I'm kind of like, why are you still there? Why are you still there?
Get out. Okay.
You got kids talking to nothing. Why are you still there? There's a bit, one of the kids are talking, and it's like, why do you always talk over your shoulder? Because there's a ghost there, motherfucker. Get your shit.
So
get out.
So here's my problem. Here's my problem here, right?
This is in general.
No, with this kind of ghost stuff, right, and like not listening to the kids talking to like nothing and all of that. I'll put my kid to bed. I'll put my 5-year-old to bed, and she's always looking over my shoulder like there's something there. And then sometimes she goes, I'm a bit scared. Goes, well, I think there's something under the bed. Like, don't be silly, sweetheart. There's nothing under the bed. And then a little part of me goes, every time I watch a horror movie, I'm sitting there going, listen to the kid. And when she's gone to sleep, I'm like, maybe I should just check. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, if this was a movie, I'd be falling into the classic mistakes of not listening to the kid.
Yeah. Do you know what? The amount of times we've and this is a lovely, my house is a lovely house. Lots of people struggle. It's a long story. Lots of people struggle to get in the property market. We struggle to get in the property market. We finally got in the property market, and we're in the house of our dreams and stuff like that. There are several times in a month where I think about packing up and getting the fuck out of Dodge. Do you know why? Because sometimes I come downstairs, or it's in the evening, I'm there on my own, I'm having a drink, watching a bit of TV, and I'm looking at one of the cats, and they're looking at nothing. They're just looking at a wall and shit. And I'm like, and then they'll look at me, and then they'll go back to what say,
yeah, and cats are meant to be aware of the supernatural, aren't they?
And it's almost like, look, B, I don't want to alarm you, but there's a hooded fucker in. Pack your shit up, mate. I'll come with.
And then they're like, oh, no, it's all right, it's gone.
Yeah. False alarm.
We don't, cats are like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Not like that head, they're no chuckling away. Not like that headless fucker lives upstairs. Oh yeah, that one. Do you know what I mean? It's just, no. But yeah, there's even a bit in there where like, the kid's got this sort of dollhouse or whatever, and it's got all these different dolls, and she goes to move it. That's it. No. She goes. She's putting the dolls away, and there's a doll under the bed, and it's one of them. It looks like one of them scary Ring fucker doll. You know the kid from Ring.
Yeah, why
Right?
would you have a doll like that?
It looks like it's under the bed, right? And she goes, and it's not. I'm not gonna spoil. She goes to pick the doll up, and the kid's like, "Don't move that doll. That doll needs to stay there," right? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put that doll back, and then I'm gonna pack my shit up, and I'm out. And then someone will say, "Yeah, but you're there as you're supposed to be there looking after the kids because she's like the governess." Don't care. Get someone else. Fuck it. I'm out. Do you know what I mean? Nope. Even when they drive to the house, right, Dave? The house is this massive
I've seen that clip where she pulls up in the car.
Yeah, she's driving the house, and then she's in the thing going like, "Oh wow, that's lovely. It is lovely. It's as scary as fuck. It is scary as fuck."
So this takes me back to Lovecraft Country because this woman in it, the one who can run, this episode opens, and you go. And then she goes, she's got her sister, and she goes, "Look, I've bought this house." And I'm like, "No.
Yeah.
No, look at it.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen next? Come on."
Same thing, right? If I get some elderly...
Oh, yeah, no.
Right?
Because also, it's suddenly she's bequeathed this money from her mother's will that she never knew her mother had.
Right. If I get some elderly, like, McGillicuddy Nugent or something, right? Suddenly I get someone ringing me up going, "Oh, old Uncle McGillicuddy Nugent has passed away and he's left you this old house in the middle of blah, blah, blah." I'm like, put that shit on the market.
On the market. Exactly. Let's go check it out. Let's get someone else to check it out on our behalf, should we?
I'll be like, I'll have the phone cradle in one hand and I'll be typing it in on Rightmove, just like, yep. How many rooms is it? Yep. Nope. Wrong. Just wrong. Do you remember, right? We're going off topic now.
I do want to watch Ghosts.
Apologies. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Ghosts is funny. Slightly off topic. I remember on our school trip to Norfolk, right? When we arrived there, it was all bunk beds and stuff like that, and we had the bunk beds near the window, and we went to the house
looking over the graveyard.
Right, yeah, right. This was this big house, and we went in there. Oh, this is lovely, and literally everyone, because it's a school trip, everyone went for the window. Everyone went for the window beds. Do you know what I mean? Everyone running over to the bunk beds, and then people were like, "Nah, I'm all right. I'm like, why is everyone?" Because it overlooked the fucking graveyard.
Yeah.
And then you remember at that night there was mist. There was mist in the graveyard.
It was just like, I have seen this on several movies.
And I've taught people now when their kids go to school and they get sent on like skiing trips and shit and they're 10. We get sent to a place next to a fucking graveyard. That's comprehensive schools for you in London.
Yeah, let's not even start on the bouncing head.
The bouncing man. That's a story for another day.
Story for another day. Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah. I gotta go.
Yeah, likewise.
So
that was rather an abrupt end, wasn't it?
So big thanks to Phil, Ken, Steve, and Stacey's gone for being in the house tonight. You know the deal. Check out the website, geeksyndicate.co.uk. Tell us what you think about what we've said, and if you agree with us or if you don't, you know how to do it. Geek Syndicate. No, what is it? Oh, yeah, the geeks at geeksyndicate.co.uk. Or just find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or something else.
And remember, you can buy us a coffee at the UN. Just ask Kofi.
Oh my dear Lord!
See what I did there?
It just keeps.
Because Kofi is like...
No, we know.
Kofi
we got it. We got it like
also
4 weeks ago.
Kofi is like Kofi.com, which is like a kind of thing where you can donate money to us and buy us a virtual coffee. Or you can ask Kofi Annan to do it.
It's moments like this that this episode's going to have an explicit tag on it.
Yeah, because he'd probably send money to us.
Just shut up.
Good old Kof.
Are you still going?
Kofi.
Oh, God.
If you're listening, Kof, I love that last resolution that you passed, man. That was money.
He's not even there anymore.
Isn't he?
Ain't been there for a while, mate.
He's not committed, is he? Jeez.
Oh, my God. No, he's not off on a jolly. He's...
God. Wow. I tell you what, man. If I was head of UN, I'd at least like rock up a little bit more than he's obviously doing. Who runs it now then?
Wonder Woman did for a little bit.
I don't even know what to do with that.
She was like their ambassador to women or something for a little bit.
Yeah, that's not running it though, is it?
No, I suppose not.
She wasn't the UN Secretary General, was she?
Was it Babylon 5? Not Babylon 5.
What are you even saying? You're just making shit up. It wasn't Babylon 5. No!
That was Battlestar Galactica. It was Admiral. Admiral, what's his name?
Admiral Adama.
The old man.
Admiral Adama. He just spoke there. He didn't. He wasn't like a secretary. Wow. And you were dissing me. At least I picked someone that actually was the Secretary General at some point.
We should read more.
Yeah, probably.
Well, okay. On that note, until next time, Geek Syndicate.
We out.
We out. Is that the first time in 14 years we've actually got that like together?
No, we didn't actually get that together, though, did we?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's my Denzel Washington impression. All right.
Get this man off the bridge.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.